In this video, we're going to take a look at the infamous Dr. Slicer Holy Grail football trading strategy, which was a strategy for Betfair that would allow you to guarantee a profit every time you used it and never take a loss. That is right, you would never lose with this strategy. You would always win. So what was the strategy? Can it still work today? And is any of this actually true? Go grab a nice cold beer and a mug of hot chocolate and let's get into it. So if you've been involved in the football trading world for any length of time, you've probably already heard about this, but in this video we're going to try and cover this subject as much as we can. So I'm going to fill all of you guys in on what this is all about in case you are totally confused. I'm going to tell you the actual strategy riddle, and that will make more sense when we get there. I'm going to even show you the fake version of the strategy that was floating around on the internet when a lot of people thought that they knew what the strategy was. I'm going to be showing you what that was, even though it wasn't. However, I'm then going to show you what my own theory of what the strategy was and what I really believe it was. And then I'm actually going to show you a real life demonstration of it as well. So lots to hang around for, that is for sure. But there will be some watching this video, rolling their eyes and probably thinking, oh no, not this subject again. But there will be a vast majority who have no clue what this is all about. So a bit of background for those who are unaware of what the Slicer secret bet strategy is all about. Well, around 2008, a mysterious person who called himself Dr. Slicer popped up on the Betfair forum claiming he had a strategy that fit certain football matches, and whenever he used that strategy, it would allow him to win every single time. So that means he would never take a loss. And that is right. He is claiming he had found the elusive Holy Grail that so many of us spend our whole lives looking for. And that is a strategy that will allow you to profit without any sort of risk to your money. However, Dr. Slicer, the kind person that he is, was obviously kind enough to come on the Betfair forum and tell us all about it, and even gave us a few cryptic clues as to what his strategy was, so others can try and figure it out. And for years and maybe even decades now, there are people still trying to figure out exactly what the bet is. And as you can expect, the idea of free money being available on the Betfair Exchange due to a market inefficiency was one that excited many, and so there were many who then spent months and years trying to crack it. Now, was he genuine? This is a debate that still rages to this very day, and as you're going to see in this video, I have good reason to believe he actually was genuine. There's a lot of people who would say that he was a time waster trying to wind everyone up. However, I have good reason to believe that he was telling the truth and the Holy Grail did exist. Okay? Emphasis on the word did. But anyway, I'm going to explain the bare bones of the strategy right now, along with my theories coming up as well. But I just want to let you know I have put together a free PDF ebook on this subject, which includes the hints for the strategy and a lot of other helpful information, and includes my own theory as well. So you can draw your own conclusions about the method and you can put it to test, and it is free for you to download. Click the link in the description to get your copy, and I would suggest doing it right now. You could click the link in the description, download it, and then follow along with this video, and it might be a little bit more helpful to you. Okay, so instead of typing it out or writing it in your notepad, you could just download this free PDF, and then you got all the information that you need regarding this subject, and it is there for you to download, keep, and take away. There's no guarantees about how long this video will stay online, but once you've downloaded that, then you've got it there to keep, and you can give it a good read and have a good think about it, and then run some of your own tests and do whatever you want with it. Okay, the link is in the description to download that and check it out. Okay, and now you're waiting for it to download. It would be really great if you could click the like button on this video. If you do like this sort of content, you want to see more videos just like this, more videos where we talk about the Holy Grail of betting strategies, then click the like button. That would be great. It will mean that more videos like this will show up in your feed. And of course, if you like this channel, then hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get all the new videos straight away. There are many videos that are only up for a short period of time, and this could be one of them. Okay, so by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell, that'll make sure you get all those videos as soon as they come out. Okay, let's take a look at this. So these are the parts of the strategy that Dr. Slicer revealed to us. Okay, now let's see if you can crack this code or solve this riddle. Okay, so here is the strategy, and what we're doing firstly is we're going to place 2 bets before kickoff. 2 bets before kickoff. Bet number 1 is laying the 0-0 halftime result. So that's the only bet we actually know for sure out of this riddle. Bet number 2 is guaranteed to lose if bet number 1 wins. So already you've probably got a few ideas about what bet number 2 could be. However, we're not totally sure. Okay, this is the mysterious part of the riddle. So bet number 2 is guaranteed to lose if bet 1 wins. Okay. Now, if the first bet were to lose, there is a third bet to place. There is bet number 3, and that is a total mystery. Okay, so first bet is going to be laying the 0-0 halftime result. Second bet guaranteed to lose should the first bet win. But if the first bet loses, a third bet is placed during halftime, and an adjustment of the second bet may be needed. Okay, may be needed. That was his exact words. So we know what one of the bets are, but bets 2 and 3 are the mystery. And if you've got any theories as to what those bets are, do leave them in the comments and we can discuss this until the cows come home. But here are some more clues from Dr. Slicer himself. And these are apparently the exact words taken from the forum thread. So the whole strategy with a calculated staking plan guarantees a profit between 9 to 12% per match. One more little thing. The matches must have a clear advantage for the home team. Whoever finds the answer will have found the holy grail. Okay, so 9 to 12% per match. I mean, this part is a little bit ambiguous to me. So a profit between 9 to 12% per match. Now, 9 to 12% of what exactly? Okay, are we talking about the stake used or the actual overall risk? Remember, we're laying 0-0 half time, so you could be looking at laying 0-0 at a price of what, 4, or it could be a price of 5. So what are we looking to make 9 to 12% of, the risk or the stake? And that's not even taking bet number 2 into consideration. Are we combining bets 1 and 2 and we're looking to make 9 to 12% of that? That bit, not totally sure, but we've got a little bit more information about how much profit we can or should be looking for when we're using this secret strategy, and it is 9 to 12% per match. So, I mean, there is the riddle. If you guys have got any ideas about what bets number 2 and 3 are, then yes, like I said, do leave them in the comments. But further to this, let's try and look at what bet number 2 could be. Okay, now bet number 2 is guaranteed to lose if bet 1 wins, and here is a list of the markets that bet 2 could be, because these markets will lose. Okay, these outcomes will lose if bet 1 wins, and bet 1 is to lay the halftime 0-0. So that basically means if we get a goal during the first half, then that bet has won, and obviously these are the markets which could lose. And there could be more. There could be more to add to this. If anyone is eagle-eyed enough to spot another market which could lose if bet 1 wins, then again, please leave that in the comments. And like I said, we can discuss it till the cows come home if you want, right? But so correct score 0-0. That is obviously going to lose if there is a goal in the first half. The over and under 0.5 goals, that's obviously going to lose. Next goal, no goal, that's obviously going to lose. And then first goal scorer, no goal scorer, is obviously going to lose as well. So, I mean, I'm already a little bit skeptical about whether it would be the next goal market or the first goal scorer market, because the liquidity on those markets is not great. Okay, it's not great. Certainly not anything you could probably scale up with. So I'm inclined to believe it's something involving the 0-0 and the over and under 0.5 goals, of course, which are pretty much the same thing, right? So that is, those are all the clues we got there. Those are all the clues we got there. And a lot of people debated this on forums and groups for years, running their own tests and all that sort of thing, trying to crack this code. But publicly, no one seemed to be able to crack the code, at least not publicly anyway. However, around 2014, somebody popped up on the internet claiming to have cracked the strategy. I think it was around 2014 anyway. And nicely, they were selling it for a sum of $99, which is very kind of them when you think about all the all the money they're potentially giving up making, considering this is the Holy Grail, right? So anyway, they were selling it for $99, and as you can imagine, there was tons of excitement, tons of people paid to get access to this secret strategy, which would guarantee you could always win and never ever lose. It was literally like buying money, if you think about it like that, okay? But as you can probably guess, it was not all it was cracked up to be, and I can actually tell you what that system was right here, and we can get into it. And so this was the strategy revealed apparently for the first ever time, and it was this, okay? Placing 2 bets before kickoff. Bet number 1, as we know, is laying halftime 0-0. Bet number 2 is backing 0-0 full-time result, okay? However, it all started to fall apart when we were told what bet number 3 was. Bet number 3 is lay an unlikely score at halftime. Okay, so the way the system would work is that you would lay the 0-0 halftime result and then back the 0-0 full-time result. If there is a goal in the first half, then you've won and you move on, right? If it is 0-0 at halftime, then you're going to then green up on the 0-0 full-time, but then also to lock in your profit, well, not quite lock it in, but anyway, to make your profit, you then lay an unlikely score at halftime, okay? I'm pretty sure you can kind of see the flaw in this already for something which is supposed to be the Holy Grail, okay? Lay an unlikely score at halftime, and I'm not kidding. This is actually taken from the PDF, okay? As you can see, as it says, careful correct score selection is needed, okay? Try to find CS that have little chance of happening and at the same time as low odds as possible. So yeah, that definitely sounds like the Holy Grail to me, all right? Yeah, so generally the idea is that, look, if it's 0-0 at halftime and you've got a match involving a strong favorite, they're pretty much advising you to then lay the 2-0 or the 3-0 to the underdog at halftime. And if you look at the prices available at halftime to be laying, you're looking at odds of 30, 40, 50, 100 to 1. So this doesn't sound like a guaranteed no-lose strategy to me. It doesn't sound quite like the Holy Grail, right? It sounds a lot like a strategy where you might pick up loads and loads of small wins, but hitting one loser would wipe out profits from what sounds like the previous 100 to 200 winners. And that is not an understatement, because when you consider the profit they're aiming for is 10% of the stake in the first half, well, yeah, you only need one of those unlikely score lines to come in, maybe even over 1,000 bets, and it wipes out all of your profit. So don't try it at home, kids, okay? Laying an unlikely scoreline is definitely not the way to riches, okay? You will get plenty of winners, but months and years of hard work will be undone in that one match where the correct score that has little chance of happening actually happens, all right? It might not happen to you for a while, but I guarantee it will happen to you in the end. So, I mean, what was Dr. Slice's strategy, and has anybody ever cracked it, ever truly cracked it? Well, the short answer is no, and still to this day, nobody has had it confirmed, okay? But I am going to show you what my theory is about all of this and what I believe the strategy actually was. And I'm pretty confident in this because I did trade on Betfair in those days in the around 2008, and I studied the markets around those days, and I know that they were pretty inefficient around those days. Definitely nothing like the efficiency that you get today on the Betfair markets. So I believe it was possible, and I believe that this is what the strategy was. Okay, so what we're doing is we'll be placing 2 bets before kickoff. Bet 1, laying the 0-0 halftime result. Bet 2 is backing the 0-0 full-time result. And then bet 3 is just as simple as green up on the correct score market if it is 0-0 at halftime. And you would lock in a profit on the correct score market, which would be bigger than the loss you take on the 0-0 halftime result. Okay. And before the trolls start in the comments, I'm not saying I have definitely cracked it, okay? If you know what the bet was for sure, then like I said, do leave it in the comments. And looking at this, you might be thinking, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. However, in 2008, the markets were nowhere near as efficient as they are today. And it's not totally crazy to suggest that the correct score market and the halftime market were not quite in sync like they are today. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all if in certain matches you could lock in a profit this way, especially like Slicer said, when there is a strong favorite involved. The markets back around 2008 were definitely a lot more emotional and overreacted to a lot of things. Those who laid the draw around that era can probably relate. And something like a strong favorite underperforming and drawing 0-0 at halftime might easily have sparked a price overreaction, which could cause the inefficiency in the prices, which you could then profit from. Okay, and that is what I believe was happening around that point. And probably once Slicer put it on the forum, and I'm expecting a few other people worked it out, and then before long the markets were efficient, because things like this don't really last too long. But anyway, the question is that you're probably asking, can this work today? Because obviously, I mean, what is the point of studying all of this and trying to crack it if that inefficiency has long gone and it can't work today? Well, I recorded some real life demonstrations of this to give you an idea of how it might have worked, and so we can see how it could possibly work today. And I think you're going to be a little bit surprised by the findings. Let's take a look. So I've set it up in this match here. This is a match from the German Bundesliga 2, and this is quite a rudimentary example of what I believe was the method. Apparently the original method had a very complex staking plan, but here I'm just going to try and keep it simple just to give you an idea of what I believe it was. So anyway, I backed the 0-0 in this match here. I backed it at 14 with £100. And so we're trying to make 10% of that £100. It was never clear whether they were talking about 10% of the original bet, the original risk. It's not really totally clear, but let's just try and aim for a profit target of 10% of this, which is going to be £10, right? So anyway, let's head to the first half. 0-0, which is here, and I put in an order. I put it in at that 3.35, which should get then taken as soon as the match begins, and then that is in for £110. So then if we get that first half goal, then well, we've made that that £10 right there. If not, then we take the action at half time to try and cover the risk, and also try and make that £10 as well. So anyway, let's let the match begin and let's see what happens. So you can see here it's gone to half time in this match. Ignore that, it literally is half time. So that means we've lost £258 for 50 pence on the half time market, laying the half time 0-0. So under the original Slicer strategy, the idea is that we could then head to, was it the correct score market, and look to lock in a profit. Okay, so let me just double check what we were looking for here. Nope, that's not the right one. That's not the right one. So let's press the cash out here. And so you can see that we've actually locked in a profit. So it's actually worked. Okay, so hold on, let's just green this out and make 283 on the correct score market. So in this case, it's actually worked. I mean, we lost 258, as you just saw, on the half-time market, but we backed the 0-0 here at 14, and the price has gone in to 3.65, so it's gone in probably much lower than the market was expecting, so a bit of an inefficiency, and we've been able to lock in a profit, and 283 minus that 258, so we've locked in a fairly decent amount as well. We locked in more than the £10 we were looking for. So this is why it fits with my theory, because I think that there were a lot of inefficient markets back in 2008, and something like this was a lot easier to come by. Today, not so much. I mean, in a different situation, I think that the market in this match would have been a lot more efficient, and we would have been staring at a loss in this example. But here just kind of shows you why I believe that the Dr. Slicer bet was real, did exist, and actually, looking at this, still works sometimes. Okay, so anyway, we made some profit there, 0-0, and we were going to make a profit no matter what, right? If that goal came in or if it ended half-time 0-0. So just a quick example. I mean, yeah, it definitely can work. So anyway, here in Celtic against Hibs, whoops, we just lost that. So anyway, that was a minus £253 on that one that we just lost, okay, because it's half-time 0-0, so that is lost. And I just want to show you, I mean, it doesn't always kind of go to plan where we can make that profit on the correct score to even cover that. Let's have a look at the correct score. And so you can see that you can cash this out on the correct score market to make 184, but then that is not going to cover the loss we took on the first half goals market. So we would be at a loss at this particular point if we were to just take this out. So let me just show you how it can work as well. I mean, if we wanted to go in lower, say what we were looking for, 3.5 or similarly, then we can play around with it, and then maybe we could have covered that loss a fair bit and then kind of greened it out this way so you could make the 280. And we're just playing around with the what if. I don't know the exact calculations, just trying to give you an idea, but maybe that would be the price we're looking for. We would be looking to get out at 3.5 rather than the 4.5 that is on offer. So the half-time 0-0 is, if it's 4.5, clearly we're going to take a loss. We could lock in 193, as you can see here, but that is a loss. So we'd have to get that price down to 3.5, which would probably take around 10 minutes into the second half. And if we could get that price down to 3.5, then we've locked in our profit no matter what. We've already lost on a half-time market, but this would cover it, and then we would have some profit on top of that. However, obviously, there is the risk of the first 10 minutes of the second half that a goal could fly in, and then we've lost this, and then we've lost on the half-time market. But if we can get that price of 3.5, then we will profit. So you can kind of see how the slicer bet can work, especially if you can find those matches where you're going to find just that little bit of an inefficiency. We're only looking at a point lower, okay, so you can probably understand how it definitely could have worked back in 2008 when the markets were less efficient. Much harder to get it to work today, okay. You can see that half-time price of 4.5 is not profitable, and we'd be taking a loss. But if that half-time price went into 3.5, then it would have worked, okay. So I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it would never work again. Obviously, you've seen that it can work. However, you're going to have to really figure out the precise matches to use it on, and so on and so on and so on, okay? But anyway, just want to show you that there before anyone starts to rush out and tries to use this on every single match. It really only seems to work on particular matches, and maybe that is part of the riddle. And just to quickly highlight again what usually happens if you were to try this approach. We tried this on the Stockport West Ham. It's half-time 0-0, so you can see we've lost £363 on the half-time market. Now if we look at the correct score market, and I just set this up just to quickly demonstrate it. So we could lock in a profit there of what is going to be around £305, so it's going to be a bit of a loss. But the price we really want, again, is a point lower, so 5.4. If we could get matched to 5.4, we could lay at 495, and then we could have all of that locked in. Let me just see. So, or maybe 5.5, would that work? Nope, that wouldn't work. So it'd have to be 5.4. So again, it's usually a point lower from where the markets do end up. And if you could get that point lower, then yes, of course, we would then be in that guaranteed winning holy grail sort of position. However, you will find in most cases the markets are just too efficient these days, and they're not going to be a point lower than they really should be. But of course, as you've seen, it can happen. It can happen, but I really want to stress that don't expect it to happen, okay? Before you guys go out there and start experimenting and then sending me all sorts of crazy emails telling me how it doesn't work. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. So I've showed you what happens most of the time. Most of the time you are going to be taking a loss if you try this on the modern day markets. However, you can kind of see how it definitely could have worked and could have been a nice money maker back in the day. So to answer that question, can this work today? Evidently, it can work today, as you saw in the German Bundesliga match. And I did just kind of run the maths on it as well, on the actual profit that was made. And if we took 5% commission into account, then it would have actually made the £10 profit that we were aiming for in that particular match. So evidently, it can work today. However, it's not so simple, is it? As you kind of saw, I picked 3 matches. I tried to use it on those 3 matches, and you kind of saw the drastic losses that I would take on the other 2 matches. However, I mean, if you were to introduce some sort of complex staking plan, as Dr. Slicer put it, and you were to really tighten and find the matches which this is most likely to work on, then, well, you might be onto something, okay? But anyway, like I said, I put a lot of that information that you need into this secret bet black book, okay? So you can download that for free. The link to get this is in the description of the video. So just scroll down, click through, put in your email address, and we'll email it right to you. And then you can take a close look at it. You know, a lot of the information that's in this video is in that book, and you can figure out the riddle in your own time, okay? So yeah, like I said, absolutely free. Click the link in the description, go and download that and check it out, okay? But before you do begin testing this and heading into the market like a headless chicken, like I know some people might, some people have probably skipped through the video, have just only looked at the live demonstrations like I see people actually do, because I can see it in the analytics. They're probably not going to see these warnings. So yeah, if you're still here looking at this warning, then congratulations, okay? So check out these warnings. Now, number 1, Dr. Slicer himself claimed in 2012 that it no longer works, okay? So I think it was around the 2010 World Cup where he was using it, apparently making money, but I think by Euro 2012, it was not so profitable, or it just wasn't working anymore. And then that was kind of the end of the discussion from his point of view. Anyway, so there is that to keep in mind. Number 2, to keep in mind, is that there is limited liquidity in the half-time markets, and at the same time there's also then going to be a limited pool of matches that you can actually use this strategy on. So this leads me to conclude that if the edge was there, especially back in 2008, and like I said, I believe it was there at some point. Like I said, the markets were definitely a lot looser. But if it was there, then whoever did make money of this, from this strategy, isn't exactly living in Barbados drinking rum punches all day from it, okay? I think it would have been a struggle to lock in 4-figure profits per match from this due to the liquidity in the halftime markets. And you're probably looking at maybe around 100, 200, maybe 500, all right, per match. If it was like a World Cup match or something like that, it is a bit more realistic. And then you have to take into account the limited pool of matches. So how much money is someone really making from this Holy Grail strategy, if it did even exist, okay? And you do have to keep in mind that if an edge like this does exist, it's not going to last very long, because the market is just going to eventually catch on to it. And you also have to factor in that maybe the people working behind the scenes at Betfair can also see it as well, and they could capitalize on it as well, okay? And of course, remember, the whole point of this is that it's supposed to be a holy grail strategy where you're guaranteed to always make money and your money is never at risk. However, what about the odd, rare event that you get in the market, Betfair suspends the match for the duration of the match, and you have no possible way to exit? Well, that's a factor as well, right? So in my view, and what I do say a lot to a lot of people, and I try and save them the time, is that I say, don't waste your time trying to find the holy grail methods. Chances are you won't find it, number one. Chances are, number two, that if you do find it, you won't be able to scale it up because the liquidity will be limited. And number three, even if you do find it and you begin to scale it up, it's only a matter of time before the markets or someone else catches onto it, and then it no longer works, all right? If you spend all of that time that you want to spend chasing the holy grail, if you actually spent that time on actually becoming a good trader with solid strategies and good discipline, then you will have your own edge that nobody can take away from you, and then you can scale that to the moon if you wanted. So just some food for thought from myself right there. And if you do want to learn some more consistent strategies and strategies that you actually can scale up with and use in the long term, then do check out my free football trading strategy session class by clicking the link in the description. You should also be able to see that in the description as well. This class is not available on YouTube, so you need to click through and get signed up to check that out. And in there, I'll give you a sneak peek at all the football trading strategies that are working for me, alongside some real life demonstrations, including of the same trades you can see on the screen right now. Like I said, it's free to check out, but it's not available on YouTube. Click the link in the description if you want to see more of that, okay? So you got the free book, and also you got this strategy session to check out if you want to learn some more, okay? There is that. And what else have we got? Well, we've got another trade there, but also, what do you think the secret bets were? Bets number 2 and 3. Do tell me in the comments. Are you someone who has cracked the code? If you have cracked it, well, then tell us, okay? Tell us what your theory was of the slicer method. It would be very, very interesting. And like I said, we can discuss this until the cows come home for the next 10 years if you guys really wish. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And if you are interested in watching some more videos, there are a couple of really, really good videos on the screen right now that you should definitely be checking out. Click on one of those videos and I will see you in the next video.